Our next reader is Jessica Hiemstra, whose book is Blood Root. Beautiful book. There's some things you need to see. You can't see them from there, they're too small. But when you get the pages in front of you, you'll see that Jessica has this incredible virtuosity with motion in space. It's just gorgeous the way you have birds and other things moving as suggestions more than just sort of vivid, realistic portrayals. The reality is in the movement itself. And that's fitting, of course, because Jessica is a visual artist and award-winning set designer. So that's kind of cool because there's a link there into the film world. She works in a variety of mediums and kinds of surfaces, from watercolor and thread to acrylic, acetate, and plastic. So multimedia, to say the least. But what's kind of cool too is the way her poems flow is kind of like writing in the sense of the act of writing a poem is weaving kind of the fabric of the air, if you will. So that really comes across in the poems too. They have that kind of movement. So one of the things that people often ask her is, what's the difference between all the things you do? And Jessica doesn't distinguish much between mediums. She chooses the best medium for exploring whatever the question might be. Concern or exaltation, what's most pressing to her in the moment. And with that, I invite Jessica to come up and read from her book.
What a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for that reading. It's so important to start with love, isn't it? So I'm glad we did that. Today's my official publication date, actually, for this book. I feel so grateful to Goose Lane for creating this with me, and to Sadiqa DeMeyer, who edited this book. Our work together proves that an editor takes you to the place you can't go on your own, and I'm so grateful to her. This book is a reckoning, is what it is. I had to move through shame to my ancestors, and you'll hear that in the poems that I read to you tonight. In the moment we're in, I'm thinking a lot about what love is, what reckoning is with who we are. I have Dutch ancestry and a lot of other European ancestors from all over the place. And my grandfathers were both ministers, and I'm the child of missionary parents. And both of my grandfathers spent their lives trying to figure out how to be good people. And the stories I grew up with were stories of them fighting for justice. But those aren't the only stories. And I had to touch more stories. So I'm going to share the first section of the book with you. And the last section, it's really just one long poem with pictures in between. This poem's a confession which makes you holy. My father's father's father was a cobbler in the time of horses. I barely knew my granddaddy, who believed I was a miracle. I feel the halo of my mother's hands easing water around my new feet. I saw an open pheasant as a child, eggs, a string of pearls, the universe housed in every dead body. I was given a stolen story to understand who I am. What if I become my mother, my grandmother, her grandmother? May's the month of turtles and our highways. In the 11th grade, we dissected cats. My classmate found kittens. I couldn't smell death's sweetness. There was no blood. Our cat gave birth in an old banana box. She licked each eyelid. My father drowned her litter, and I followed her mewling. She slept by the wood stove, teats swollen and hot. She searched, baffled. Maybe she knew. I squeezed her milk to stop the pain. We don't need to open a cat to understand a cat. A white man takes a bird apart to understand a bird. A white man kills and calls it mercy. The Dutch sang Ere is God, glory to God, while slaves in Suriname harvested sugar for coffee after church, silver spoons in white cups. Peace be on earth to the people whom God delights in. I've taken my father apart to understand myself. When I don't tell the truth, it becomes vengeful. My parents lied to me, their parents lied to them. No conception is immaculate. Our world's turtles all the way down. I inherited Jesus, whose father crucified him. I was told this is a love story. His murder, a gift for mankind and also my fault. God turned Lot's wife into salt for being homesick. Mikinak, snapping turtle, laid eggs before dinosaurs. A mother digs in gravel. I drive past her. I grew up in a church that excommunicated people. My ancestors were farmers and blacksmiths who got the story wrong. I don't know the names of the people they enslaved. Some sweaty nights in the city, I think even land finds me vile. I'm visited by animals in my dreams, crocodiles, foxes, beavers, whales. Once I made love to a turtle. We threw ourselves over a waterfall. I learned to smite, excommunication, before orgasm, mudita. In kindergarten with crayons, I drew Abraham with a knife above his son. I still fail to make sense of God asking fathers to kill children. Dutch soldiers in Indonesia sent a child up a tree. He tossed them coconuts. They shot him. I eat sambal olek, nasi goreng, am told it's the food of my people. May God drown in the rage of mothers. There's no cure for white women. I grew up by a river in Badala, a creek in Bobcaygeon, in nations looted by my ancestors. My parents were missionaries, so I loathe God. I think God's an asshole, to tell you the truth. I listen to snakes. They aren't the devil. I'm not ashamed of my breasts. I'm ashamed of the Dutch in Indonesia. My truck isn't horsepower. Soft neck of a turtle flung from her shell. I see the penis of a gelding dangling, grazing in our paddock. The diminutive for snapping turtle, Mikinakuns. Anton de Combe's mothers and fathers named bushes, parrot tongues, fiery love, hanging lamp. A firefly is firewarden. A deerfly lands on me, I kill her without thinking. I don't want the truth to be limp. I don't march because it reminds me of church. I've failed Breonna Taylor because I'm a coward. I still think it's about me while the world ends. Everything feels possible when a baby's born. Even love, even a father's love. I want God in the diminutive. I miss praying, I confess. Sometimes I think I'm prayer. I pray when I hold a child, whisper to a turtle, neck exposed to crows. Prayer's the bright darting of a red-winged blackbird. I want God to be good. My drawings are hymns for slow ghosts of turtles. What's holy is the whole body in light. Well, I'm human to be human. Mothers all the way down. So the last sort of phrase in the book I will read to you now. One thing that would be nice for you to know before I read it is I went to a conference about 5 years ago in Toronto at the power plant. And there was an artist who was there who really inspired me, Billy Gauthier, and he's a sculptor and a hunter. And the conference was a meeting of Indigenous people from the Arctic and from the Amazon, and it was an incredible conference to be at. There were artists and scientists, and I learned so much, and I was just so inspired by Billy and what he had to say. It took me a long time to write this poem, and it's written for him and has some quotes from him from things he said at the conference, and also from an artist statement for a sculpture that he has that's in the Rooms Gallery in Newfoundland. I want to land like a cormorant when I die, be remembered, like a long black neck, grace, a small sweet splash. I want to live sailing through what holds me. What will we do without a sheet of ice to love on? Without your spear, in your beautiful land, your Labrador. Stain. I haven't been to your home, Nunatsiavut, Happy Valley, Goose Bay. I'm at a window in Mi'kma'ki looking at your sculpture, the earth, our mother. A whalebone, a song for her. Someone asked you, where are her ears? The earth doesn't need ears, you said. It is us that needs to listen. She sees what we do. You've carved a seal into the fin of a whale. Your lines like wind and water, flight and kelp. She's yelling and screaming louder and louder until we hear. Mother with an angry red face, prove you love humanity, you say. Our world, our exhausted mother. I dreamed a whale in Lake Ontario, the leading sea, Nigani Gichigami. The whale was covered in lichen, groaning, air whistled through seams in her body. I woke and smelled wet dog, couldn't tell if it was me or the dream. Stain. Stains are memories, you said, and showed us blood on your sleeves and stomach. Told us the dark was seal, the light fish. You put a hand on your belly. This is my blood, you said. The seal and the fish are part of me. Stain. I'm the blood of people who said sodomy was irredeemable. Castrated men so they'd sing better. This is one of the reasons I want to be a cormorant. Their signature of flight, waves above water. Sometimes in my dreams my body's rotting. Mostly in my dreams I'm home. My grandfathers beg me. God is light, says one. It's impossible to believe you aren't a miracle, says the other. They say it's not too late to learn the story. Stain. Who protects what they know nothing about, you said. I grew up singing for the beauty of the earth, for the glory of the skies. Who can praise what they don't tend? My ancestors split stones with people. One day, I'll be an ancestor. Billy, you carve stone and release dance. I'm learning to listen to stones. Stain. I walk past a man feeding bread to mallards. It looks like communion, so I say nothing. Stain. Sometimes, in my dreams, foxes are ghosts of people. Sometimes foxes are ghosts of foxes. Sometimes I'm a fox, sometimes I'm a ghost, sometimes I'm a person making love to a turtle. Stain. You spoke of the seal surfacing, said you had to smash the soft part of her head with precision, said you turned her over, put a piece of ice in your mouth, opened hers, let a droplet fall. A drink before the next world, you said. This transforms communion for me. Stain. I'm trying to transform into a cormorant before I die. But I'm a woman, transforming into a woman. And in honor of my grandfathers, I'm going to read the poem that is in the publication that Rob has generously put together for everyone. One thing I kept from my upbringing was how much I loved a blessing. So I'm going to bless all of you tonight. And this is a blessing for you in our harrowing world. Those shoes you stumbled over, not your feet. You're allowed to be late because you were weeping. May we change the story by listening. Frogs jubilate on their way to extinction. Our world makes foxes, lemon chiffon, snowberries. Forget, 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 but the young shall grow. May your enemies learn to love your children. Thrust your arm into pink cosmos. Trees are older than war. Your tenderness isn't wasted. Bury yourself in a willing breast. Our world's ecstasy, too. Orca love songs, beavers giving birth. May you hear a blossom fall. Have time to save the cat before you flee. Your kindness is evolution. Thank you all so much.